Hi everyone, it's time for another Studio Ghibli review. Yeah, I'm glad to talk about this studio again, and I'm going to be reviewing their masterpiece, Spirited Away. A lot of people say this is one of the best Ghibli movies, which is really saying something given their repertoire, and I would have to agree. This isn't just one of their best, but one of the ones I personally enjoy the most, and is most entertaining in many respects. So, Hayao Miyazaki wanted to create a movie that 10-year-old girls would actually want to see instead of the stereotypical coming of age with boy drama and all of that. And he succeeded. We have a great fantasy story that connects with growing up and finding one's identity. At first, it might seem like a typical Alice in Wonderland or Wizard of Oz story, but that's not really the case at all. We have some really deep themes, and all of them are prominent in this film. The bathhouse is the central setting of this movie, and it is so important to the story, not just for plot, but also bringing in a lot of themes. Now, Chihiro has to work in the bathhouse because her parents ate spirit food and turned into pigs. So, she has to work for Yubaba and give her name to Yubaba and be referred to as Sen, therefore losing her identity. And she has to work in the bathhouse for a lot of the movie while slowly needing to remember herself and seeing the real gravity of this situation with her parents being fattened up to be eaten, and one of her friends, Haku, is in danger as well. And just seeing how all these people around her are trapped because they forgot themselves and their names. The bathhouse is, as I said, really important because of all the corruption and effects it has on everybody. Yubaba controls it, and she doesn't make it easy for anyone working there, especially Zen, Sashihiro. What she wants is for Chihiro to either complain and turn into something or to completely forget herself, and she comes really close several times throughout the movie. And that's not the only major theme that's explored. Memories are too. Haku knows who Chihiro is right away, but Chihiro isn't quite as sure about who he might be. But she realizes he knows her name, and something about him makes her realize that they have met before. As Zeniba, Yubaba's sister, later says that when you meet someone, you never really forget them, which is a great message for memories and how even if we somewhat forget, deep down inside there's still a glimpse of someone we've met or something we've done. But all of that is being taken away from the people in the bathhouse. Chihiro at one point calls herself Sen to her parents, implying that she's forgotten her real name already over a period of a couple days. And other themes are greed, No Face, a demon who can conjure up gold and then eat the people that take it, is a show of how greed can eat us up figuratively, but making it literal. And the other thing with him is we start to see how the bathhouse really is and how it's not even a safe place to visit, because once we get him outside, he's a totally different character. So It has a theme of darkness, corruption to anyone who comes upon, almost making people sick and forgetting themselves, all at the hands of Yubaba. So, the story is a really deep one that works for kids and adults on different levels, and it has a lot of nice slow scenes, such as the beautiful train sequence with Chihiro and No Face, and parts where Chihiro's just trying to fit in at the bathhouse and overcome prejudices against humans. So the storyline here is fantastic. There's so much to like for it. Now on to the animation. Studio Ghibli is known for their stellar animation, and here is no exception. Everything here looks exactly as it should for themes and emotions. We see when we first arrive in the spirit realm and sunset occurs. Black shadowy demons with eyes and nothing else. And we see items floating by themselves to really convey a sense of mystery and the unknown that Chihiro would be going into beforehand, but now it's becoming a really literal thing and symbolizing everything that's off-putting in the spirit realm that we aren't going to see. I think this really works because we only have so much time in the movie and most of it's spent in the bathhouse, but it's showing that there's still a lot more here that we don't know what it is, leaving mysteries for the movie open in a good way. The characters all have great designs. Some of them are cuter and more cartoonish, sort of like the frogs, but other ones have a much larger presence, and even the scaling done next to Chihiro really makes a large difference and gives them a dominating personality, threatening for some, and other ones just majestic. Everything is so much larger than her. Kamaji, Bo, Yubaba's son, Yubaba herself, the spirits. Everything is so large, and it really conveys a sense of helplessness for Chihiro against these great forces that she has to encounter throughout the film. But at the same time, a lot of those turn out to be helpful, like Kamaji. And once you get to know No Face and Bo, you realize they aren't real threatening deep down, and they actually turn out to be good allies. But at the same time, it shows a certain level of threatening for most of them, but it really has the idea of things not being completely as they seem, and that is a real major importance in the bathhouse. Not to judge anything by like it seems, because if that happens, you'll slowly start to forget yourself. So you always need to keep a wary eye. And there's plenty of sequences that are just plain beautiful to look at. Again, the train scene, I'm probably going to mention it a million more times in this review, or once. But just that sequence is just so beautiful, and there's not much to say about the animation of this movie that hasn't already been said. It's some of the most beautiful. Watch Mojo put it at their #1 most beautiful anime film ever. For once they were right for their #1 something. On to the characters. Chihiro is a character that isn't every girl, but at the same time, she has a more distinct personality of her own. We sympathize with her wanting to save her parents and find out her connection with Haku, and she has great sympathy for anyone she comes across. No matter what a character might do to her, she gives them a chance. Even Yubaba, she has moments of not exactly gratitude for, but acknowledgement that she did do some things for her, whether they were unintentional or not. So that mixture of her constant desire to help those she cares about really make her a great heroine that, while we can all identify with, still has a very distinct personality. Haku is Yubaba's henchman, but is also Chihiro's first ally. Now, he's one that we definitely aren't sure of either way at first because he helps Chihiro, but then he's turned out to be working for Yubaba and is colder to her. But then he helps her again, and then we find out he made some mistakes earlier that I don't really want to get into for spoiler reasons. But we keep going back and forth with him until we find he's decent overall. So he is a definite complex character and another sense of mystery in the film for many reasons, for finding out who he is, as well as finding out what he's up to. Lynn is another great character. She has a nice, really big sister protectiveness over Chihiro, and it's just so heartwarming seeing the two together and seeing how she goes from being kind of gruff to truly caring about Chihiro and wanting to help her and being protective of her against even the likes of No Face and Yubaba. Okay, No Face. He is never really layered character. At first we think he could be a villain, but then we find out more about the house itself and then start to realize maybe things with him aren't exactly as they seem, just as they aren't with other characters that we've encountered thus far in the movie. And he turns out to be pretty sympathetic and really expressive, even though he has no real facial expressions and says very little other than when he's eaten other characters. But we still somehow have a great idea of how he's feeling, and his feelings of loneliness make him relatable. I believe Miyazaki actually said that No Face is us, so that makes him all the more relatable. Other characters of importance are Kamaji, the Boiler Man, who is another ally of Chihiro's that, while he looks strange, is one of the and is gruff, similar to No Face or Lin for the odd appearance of No Face and the a little bit grouchy appearance of Lin initially. They he's still an ally and cares very much about Chihiro. Now on to our villain, Yubaba. She is a great one because she is one that has her moments where she shows some levels of kindness, but at the same time, you're never sure of whether she's only happy because she's getting what she wants or if she might have a soft side deep down. The only one she undoubtedly loves is her son, Bo, who what starts off as a typical spoiled brat, but then becomes a really sweet character later on and sort of a morality chain for Yubaba. But Yubaba is a real threat. She'll get what she wants out of a person, and even if you force her into a situation where she doesn't want to be in, she'll find a way to twist it so she can break a deal without actually going back on her part. She constantly tries to get sent into situations where she would complain, so she'd be turned into a pig or a lump of coal or something, which really makes her that much of a threat because she can't be dealt with like a typical villain or even complained about without there being consequences. But at the same time, she has a soft spot for her son, and she will honor a deal that she has gone through in the end. So, a more layered villain, like many other ones from Studio Ghibli. So, Spirited Away is one of Ghibli's most popular films for a very good reason. Its animation, story, and characters are all phenomenal, and it is a masterpiece. It's the only hand-drawn animated film to win a Best Animated Feature. And I am really glad to say that this is the one that got it, and I honestly feel that if more movies like this came out, we would have so much more variety than what we have now for animation. And what's more to say? It's one of the masterpieces of animation, and it's definitely worth checking out. Thank you again for watching, and please, if you have an anime film you want me to review, please leave it in the comment section below, and I'll check it out. Until then, see you later, and take good care of your names.